Hello and welcome to the Mourningstar news. I am Yobi.
And I am Darner.
So this is a new project. We're gonna try to discuss all the latest news about Darktide, the community concerns and stuff like that. We're planning to do more than this, but this is the Mourningstar news show, and this is gonna be dedicated to topics such as, let's see what we have for today, Darner. We have obviously, first thing we're going to discuss is going to be the free Aquilas for Xbox users news and how the rest of the community on Steam reacted to it. We're also going to talk, of course, about the current state of the veterans, because we saw many people think that the veteran is not where it used to be or where it should be. We also going to talk about certain leaks about weapon reworks, and we're going to talk about the Assail Psyker, which seems to be dominating the games right now. And I had a bonus one, which is we're going to check if there's actually going to be a DLC in the game soon, or if that's not a DLC, we'll discuss it in a little bit. But let's start with the free Aquilas thing, Darner. So let me find the thread. So what do we know about this? What do we know about this?
Well, what we do know so far is that the Xbox players, when they bought the game, they got some additional Aquilas that we did not get as a PC Steam players when we decided to buy the game. For example, if we bought the Imperial Edition, we would get 2,500 Aquilas and we would get some skins, etc. Meanwhile, the Xbox players seem to be getting a lot more Aquilas than what we received, in addition to all the things that they got. And yeah, there has been some controversy about this subject during the week, and
So do
I
you?
I don't really know where to put this, like if I like it or not. Like for me, I don't really mind all that much, but it still hurts a little bit that there seems to be some favoritism towards the Xbox players in this regard. I don't know, what are your thoughts about this, Yobi?
What's the difference we're talking about? Because when we bought the game, we got 2,400 Aquilas. Is that right?
We got 2,400 Aquilas if we bought the Imperial Edition. If we bought the base game, we did not get any Aquilas whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. And now the Xbox users, if they buy the normal game, they get what? 9,400 Aquilas?
I think that's the number that they were getting, yes.
And for Imperial Edition, I heard they're getting 14,000 Aquilas, which is a lot.
Yeah, that basically allows you to buy all the current skins that are on the shop as of now, which are the Krieg sets, which the PC players have been waiting literally a year to be able to acquire, because we got a lot of Warhammer 40k fans in on this community, and the Death Corp of Krieg is one of the most respected and well enjoyed groups of individuals in the Warhammer 40k universe. And so a lot of players have been waiting to get their hands on these kind of cosmetic sets.
Yeah, and they're very expensive. So if you bought the game on Xbox, you can actually buy these things. But if you have the game since release, and that's what people, this is what aggravated people actually, that many of us got the game during beta, basically. I think that's the thread. Let me see if that's the thread. That's the offer, actually, not the thread. Yeah, this is the offer. So you get 14,000 Aquilas if you buy Darktide for Xbox. So to put it into perspective and explain why people got so mad, many of us played since beta, and all of us who played since then, we know that the game had to go through a lot, right? It wasn't a smooth game to begin with. We had to go through bugs, through problems, through the crafting system was not ready for a long time. Many people left because of that, but many of us kept going, and many of us actually kept spending money in the cosmetic shop to support the game and show our love. And then a year later, we feel like this is the actual release of the game. It's not the official release, but it feels like the game is finally kinda ready right now. Maybe you can remove the kinda and just say that it's ready right now. And the people who are coming right now to play the finished product, on top of a finished product, they get so many Aquilas that we have to spend hundreds of dollars or euros or whatever currency to get. And this feels very unfair. In my own experience, for example, I spent, I don't know, over 100 euros for Aquilas. And when I saw this, I felt like, okay, does Fatshark has the right to do this? Yeah, obviously it's their decision, okay? So, but how do I feel? I feel like I feel a bit duped. I feel like I supported the game. I put extra resources because I bought the game and I bought extra Aquilas and I spent a lot of money for those. And I spent all my time and I never quit the game. I try to be active on forums. I try to give my suggestions, you know. I try to help other people whenever I could with sticking with the game, you know, becoming better so that they can start to enjoy the game because it's a difficult game. And then I feel like as if someone from Fatshark told me, well, you know what? No one told you to buy cosmetics and spend your money. It's your fault. Like, you could have just played the game without spending any money. So why do you care if we give free Aquilas to someone else? It shouldn't be. It should be none of your business. But this doesn't feel right, you know. Do they have the right to do this? Absolutely. And maybe if some Fatshark representative decides to be very transparent, they could actually have some very solid reasons for doing this. It could be things like a special deal between Fatshark and Microsoft, and they're getting the money from Microsoft on top of the money that they get from users buying the game. So maybe Microsoft paid for those 14,000 Aquilas that the Xbox users are receiving, and we don't know about this, and this would make it a fair thing for Fatshark to do. So in reality, it could be just a fair deal, but it just feels wrong, you know. It just feels bad. And there was a huge outcry on the forums about this, and there was some controversy with response from Fatshark. I know it was taken out of context, but because people were crying, you know, quote unquote crying. I'm not saying like people were actually crying, but you know what I mean. People were very emotional with the reaction towards this issue. Sister Septicemia made a comment that just pushed the rest of the people through their boundaries, you know, through their limits. And she made a comment about people pair clutching. I didn't know what this meant until I read it on this reply. So I googled it, and basically it's when you pretend that you have a very emotional response to something that you don't really care about, just to virtue signal or to get something back for it. But anyway, people got this Sister Septicemia reaction, and the drama just got out of control. And this made Fatshark come up with the official statement that they're looking for a way to reward the community and the players that were in the game before the Xbox release, for those people who've been playing the game for a long time, since beta especially. So, Turner, what do you think we're gonna get? Because they didn't specify. They said they're gonna look into it and make a decision over the next few weeks, in the coming weeks, they said. What do you think it's gonna be?
I actually don't know. It seems like the response is that they're trying to look to give us something that is not in the forms of Aquilas, because it might just have been this deal that you were talking about with Microsoft, for example, that Microsoft might have paid them extra money to set this offer up for Xbox players to get into the game. That is not out of the question, but we just don't know what the underlying story is about that. And Fatshark hasn't really communicated that with us, so we honestly can't tell. But from the looks of it, it looks like maybe we're gonna get Aquilas, maybe we're not. We had this thing for us PC players that have been here since the beta and the alpha, that we got some really ugly helmets in the game
Oh
with
yeah.
like if you were an alpha player you got an A on the front, on the forehead of the helmet, and if you were a beta player you got like a B that looked more like a P in on the forehead of the helmet, and it looks really wonky and they don't really fit with any of the in-game armor sets. But we had a good laugh about them, really, because there were some bugs in the early stages. There were like the Ogrins and the Zealot helmets could get you could put them on, and I don't know the gist of how people did it, but it would make the helmet like it look insanely big on your character's head.
Yeah.
It just looked funky as hell when they were running around in the game. It was a good laugh, but we didn't care too much about those random cosmetics.
I
I
don't think
think,
anyone cares about the cosmetics at this point. Because imagine walking around with a B, with a beta on your head.
yeah,
I mean, they thought it's gonna be cool if people can show everyone that they're here since beta, but it actually ended up being a meme. Like, you're
yeah.
walking around with an actual beta thing on your head, like, I'm a beta, you know? It became a
Yeah,
community meme.
I'm a beta, and this guy over here, he's an alpha male. So it became like a meme with people some people would run around with a helmet, and the other players would run around with the B helmet. Like, oh yeah, this is the alpha,
Well,
we're just the betas.
if it makes you feel any better, this is my input about. Wait, I need to find my input about the new helmet design. If they're gonna give us another helmet, here it is. It could be a Mourningstar, Clam, and our head could be the Pearl, because we're Pearl Clutchers, apparently.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too. Are we gonna get a beta or alpha helmet, but instead of a letter on the forehead, it's gonna be like a hand holding a pearl? I don't know. Like, if they did that, it would be funny, but at the same time, it would be it would show what the Fat
Well,
Shark
yeah, you
devs
got
actually think about the community, and
yeah.
I don't think that would end very well for them.
You got the A, you got the B helmet, and now you can get the C helmet, the Klutz, the Clutchers helmet. And then,
Yeah,
alphabet had so many letters, so eventually they're gonna run out of letters, and we're gonna be done with letter thing on the forehead.
yeah, and it's all for the PC players only, guys.
Yeah. Uh, but to put into to put my own 2 cents about this. When they say they're gonna give us a proper reward in the coming weeks, this specific wording, choice of words here, the coming weeks, makes me think of a couple of things. One thing is that they probably gonna give us something cosmetics. They're gonna give us cosmetics and not Aquilas, and they need time to design those cosmetics, which makes sense, and it's pretty similar to your opinion about this, like your call, what they're gonna give us. And I guess it's the most likely, because if there is a deal with Microsoft about the Aquilas thing, then I really don't think they'll go out their way to give us Aquilas. They want us to spend money for this Aquilas. They're going to give us something that is just someone's work on paper, new design, get it, like it, dislike it, we don't care, we just rewarded you, and then go on your merry way. And the other thought I had, since they're saying in the coming weeks, is that maybe they're actually going to give us Aquilas, but the reason they're not giving us Aquilas right now is because the new cosmetics just landed on the cosmetics shop. And if they give us the free Aquilas now, we're going to get all those things for free. So maybe they want to let the fear of missing out, hit us, cave in and make us cave in and buy Aquilas, and then they're going to give us the free Aquilas, so we might spend our own money for now. Maybe that's what they're hoping for, that we spend our own money for now. We buy the new cool cosmetics that just dropped in the shop, and eventually at some point we're gonna get some Aquilas to do whatever we want with them. But I think that's the less likely outcome of the two. But anyway, if you don't have anything to comment on this topic, we could move on.
Yeah, I think we can move on.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot to be said about it. We just have to wait and see what is gonna happen. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna be getting Aquilas out of the gate. I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So next thing we have the veteran outcry, and I've marked a few topics here on the forums just to show a little bit of how much discussion there is currently around veteran talent tree design on the forums, on Reddit, everywhere. Basically, even if you go on Discord, you're gonna see all those discussions. Wherever you go, if people are playing Darktide, they're gonna tell you about the veteran thing. So I've opened some topics. It doesn't matter who opened the topic, who replied to it. I'm just showing you that there are many topics about the same thing, about the veteran design, and it's not just a thread. In simple terms, people, the new talent trees landed with patch 13, and we got the veteran tree, and the gameplay of veteran changed a little bit, and we have many people who used to play veteran as a main that they're saying that their gameplay is now ruined. It doesn't feel the same class anymore. They cannot perform very well anymore. All the problems that they identify are along these lines. That the builds are not good, the weapons cannot shine anymore. There are not enough options for a veteran to play. They say that when you play a melee veteran, you feel like a lesser version of a zealot, and when you play ranged veteran, you feel like a lesser version of a Psyker or an Assail Psyker, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, or a Gunlogger Ogrin. So where do you see veteran right now, Darner? Do you see veteran as an underperforming class, or you think those comments are misplaced and people just didn't have enough time to catch up with the new builds and the new meta? What do you think?
So the main thing that I've been reading, I've been following a lot of the comments. I don't go that much onto the forums, but I spend a lot of time on Reddit. And from what I've been able to see, the main thing that people dislike about the veteran talent is the lack of keynotes. So for the Ogre, the Zealot, and the Psyker, at the end of the skill trees, you have something called keynotes, which you lock yourself into so you cannot take another keynote. For example, on the Zealot, you can have a keynote structure which allows you to get um, additional damage, attack speed, and toughness damage reduction depending on how many wounds you're missing. You have another one for movement based gameplay where you get stacks while you're moving, and when you attack, you spend those stacks to get a buff for a certain duration that gives you added things. Or you have the one that just gives you a crit amp whenever you have been killing a certain amount of enemies during a time. And on the veteran tree, we don't really have these sort of keynotes. What we instead got is what is being shown here, that we have these things where it just goes down and you don't really lock yourself out of anything. And on the left side, you mainly have the old passives and perks that we used to have on the old skill tree for the veteran. And then in the middle tree, we have more of a support-ish playstyle with that spends more time into making you tankier. And on the right side, we have more full like melee damage-based gameplay oriented talents. And it has been a topic for the veterans that they feel like these kind of trees aren't like they feel left out because they also want to have that cool thing that separates them from other veterans. Like, oh yeah, I'm running this keynote instead of that keynote, which other classes have access to. But on a veteran, it's more like, well, I'm gonna take some points into the right side, I'm gonna take some points into the middle, I'm gonna take some on the left, and like set up so get myself the things that I want or need. And from my experience playing the veteran in the new patch, I kind of like this. Um, I miss having the keynotes, yes, but I actually like this is more the style that I like. I'm an old World of Warcraft player, and the talent trees back in the old days were so fun and gimmicky to put points in and make special builds that nobody really had. And I kind of like that. Meanwhile, on the other classes, it's more streamlined. And another topic about the veteran that makes veteran players feel that they were betrayed in the new patch is the nerf specifically to the blessing pinning fire, which is a
Oh,
blessing that you can get on the shredder pistol and the bolter that gave you power with your ranged weapon depending on how many enemies you had staggered. And it went up to 100% increase in power, which is basically a damage multiplier of like 2.2. So you made like 120% more damage and had a lot more stagger. That in combination with an old talent that you used to have, which immediately reloaded your weapon when you use your ultimate ability, your executioner stance, it made for a really satisfying combo with the bolter where you could just unload 30 bullets into a horde of elites and just obliterate the entire screen. And so the veterans are really sad about losing that, but that also made it so that you could really only play Bolter Veteran.
yeah,
Like it was so strong that it forced you to play it, because if you weren't playing it, then other people would look down on you and be like, oh, this guy is just weighting us down. Why isn't he playing the Bolter? You should play the Bolter. And for me, I think that was bad game design. But people have been getting hooked up on it. They were playing it a lot. They liked it, and so they want it back. And I can see why they would want to have it back, but it's not good game balance, in my opinion. Those are my takes on this particular subject. What are your thoughts, Yobi?
Someone could say that maybe the reason many people find it difficult to adopt is because of this saying. It's like trying to teach an old monkey new tricks. It's we as humans are very good at creating habits and mastering habits. And when we build a habit, it's very difficult to change it. So it's understandable 100%. But I personally think that the new talent tree is an upgrade to the whole game. There's no doubt about this. The previous design basically made you choose a weapon and then go and choose whatever talents you had out of the 5-6 you had to complement the weapon of your choice. Now the system has changed and people need to adapt. You have to make a build based on your talents, and then based on that build, you need to choose the weapon. So it's the other way around. People are used to just pick the weapon and try to see how to make it work, and that's why it doesn't work in all cases. If you had to simplify, you could just say that it's a new update. They released talent trees, and obviously the meta has changed. It's a normal thing. It happens in every game. Whenever you have a major update, whenever you have an expansion, whenever you have even sometimes a DLC in some games, you're gonna have the meta shifting from one thing to another. That's just a normal process. I understand people having trouble catching up, but eventually they're gonna catch up. They're gonna figure out, hopefully and thankfully, there will be and there are many people who are posting guides on the forums. We're gonna be posting some guides as well because we think we came up with some very good builds. We're gonna showcase them in other videos, so you can follow us and you'll get updates for that later. But in general, back to my point, I think it's just the meta that has changed and people need to adapt. The Shredder Auto Pistol is no longer meta, and that's it. The bolter gun is no longer a meta weapon, and that's it. Now you have new weapons that are meta, such as the Recon Lasgun, which used to be one of the worst weapons you could play as a veteran, and now it became one of the best. From then on, I don't know, basically I think I like how the veteran tree came out. I think it gives some of maybe it's the most versatile of all the classes, and that's exactly because we do not have the keystones. They're called keystones, right? The purple ones.
Yeah, they're called keystone nodes.
Yeah, so we don't have the keystone. So what is a keystone? If you check other classes, let's say, for example, the Zealot, on your talent tree, you have these finishing nodes here that are colored with purple, and they give you some big bonuses, or they dictate how you're gonna play the class. And they're at the end of the tree, which basically what it means. Whatever you do at the top of the build, eventually you're gonna have to choose one of the three because they're all mutually exclusive. You cannot have two of them. You can only pick one. With the veteran, you don't have this. I understand some people are saying veterans should have this kind of keystones, but I actually think veteran not having those could be a good thing for the veteran, because now you're not forced to choose one of those things. You can just pick and mix around 3 different trees and get some very strong passives, and you can make very, very unique builds. You can play melee, and for people who are saying that the melee veteran is just a lesser version of a Zealot, no, it's not. It's a viable class, and it's actually very fun to play. You just, again, remember that you have to make the talents first and then pick the weapons. You're not gonna do well if you just try to play the weapons you used to. Are there some problems with the, or maybe not problems, but other things that could be better with the veteran talent trees? Absolutely. I read through all the posts, and I made a thread on the forums trying to identify some of those issues, and I try to give some suggestions, keeping in mind that the design of the tree is very difficult to change. If someone has worked or cooperated with game developing studios and game designers, it's very likely that you will you know that changing UI stuff is actually harder than changing description. So what I mean by that, you could take any talent here, change the icon and change the description, give a different bonus, different benefit. That's easy to do. Changing the design of the tree, adding different nodes, linking different nodes together that they're not linked right now is very difficult. You cannot do it in one patch. So I try to identify some of the issues with veteran, or things that the veteran could do better. And I'm not gonna read the whole thread. I'm just gonna give you basically the a rundown of this thread. You can find it on the forums and check it out yourself. But I'm sorry about this. But basically, the veteran tree right now has options to benefit weapons that are good at weak spot damage and critical damage. It benefits weapons that have damage profiles that can benefit from rending. What this means, for example, when you have this is a profile of a weapon that is benefiting from crit and weak spot, you can see the damage is more than doubled when you crit or you hit a weak spot. So this weapon has a multiplier 2x when you weak spot or you crit hit something. If it's not a crit weapon, usually the multiplier is below 1.5. So these weapons benefit a lot from the left side of the build. You have weapons that work very well with rending, which is the middle branch of the talent trees. Rending basically makes all the armor types take similar damage to the unarmored profile. So if you have a weapon that does less damage to any other armor type except unarmored, by rending you basically increase all this damage and you bring it closer to the unarmored damage. These weapons get big benefits if they crit, and by default having some which one is that? Having rending strikes, which gives you 15% rending to all weapons. Then you have on the right side, you have the melee build. What you're missing right now is something for weapons that do not benefit from either of those things. They're not crit weapons, they're not weak spot weapons. Then the damage profile is very balanced across all armor types. And those weapons are plasma gun, bolter, and shotguns. The bolter, for example, since many people are talking about the bolt gun, you'll see that the difference is not that much of a big deal. For example, okay, you have the infested, which is lower, but you almost never use a bolt gun to kill infested. And then whatever everything else, if you check, like the maniac is very close, and the other damage types are not lagging too much behind. The carapace is something that can benefit from rending, but not as much as other weapons. And the plasma gun, I think, is a better example, because you can see all the armor types take pretty much the same damage except unyielding, which takes more damage. All the other armor types take around the same damage, and the crit modifier is very low. You just get a 20% increase, so that's like a multiplier of 1.2. It's not even 1.5, it's 1.2. So it doesn't matter if you weak spot, a good luck weak spotting with a bolter or a plasma, especially in long range. Even if you crit, it doesn't matter that much. You don't benefit. So there are things that they could do to basically boost the raw damage. Weapons that just have strong damage profiles and they don't benefit from anything else. They could do that, and I think it could bring these weapons to a pretty good balance with all the other weapons that the veteran has. But other than this, I don't really see something wrong with the veteran. Maybe crack grenade could blow up a little bit faster. Maybe something like that. Maybe the smoke grenade could do something extra, because I don't think it's very useful right now, or people saying that it actually doesn't work as it's supposed to work. There've been reports from people throwing smoke grenades and the snipers can still snipe you through the smoke. It hasn't happened to me yet, but some people said it does happen.
Yeah, it does happen. It's intended game design. The smoke grenade basically makes it so non-elite shooters will walk through the fog towards you, and shotgunners will also walk through it. Gunners, reapers, and gunners and reapers will continue to fire at your last known location.
Mm-hmm.
So you just need to move away from that location, and they will continue fire in that direction, but they will not find you. Snipers can see through the fog, so the smoke grenade doesn't do anything for the snipers,
I
sadly.
see. Oh, that's very useful information. Do you think there is anything else to touch on the veteran topic, or we're good to go?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Your post that you did was very like it explains the things that you should be thinking about and be aware of when you're making a veteran build right now. I actually like the veteran because there there are always like some things that you can move around, and like if I make a Zealot build or a Psyker build or a Ogrin build, it's like it always feels like the same. But the veteran, it's the veteran talent tree just allows you to like experiment and like think of new things to do, because you can always put talents a little bit everywhere, and I like that. I really like that. So I don't think that they should bring keynotes to the veterans. I think that the veteran is a very nice the way it is, but I think they should make some changes to add in more viability towards the things like the plasma gun and the bolter. And probably something for the shotguns as well, because as of the latest patch, there are so many things that work well with some weapons, and the bolter, the plasma, and the shotgun has just fallen a bit to the wayside. It's a bit sad, but they're still good weapons. Especially the plasma gun with the new talents has been very nice. But yeah, I think we can move on from this particular subject.
Well, one thing I know for sure is if you're playing the Psyker, you just need to go Assail. So
Yeah. So I've heard.
yeah, so basically going from the veteran to the Psyker, I'm actually gonna go this way before we talk about the weapon leaks.
Yeah.
Since we're on already in the topic of the talent trees, a good example right now of how other classes are kinda locked to pick certain things could be the Assail Psyker. I know there is also a huge discussion on the forums and on Reddit about the Assail Psyker. Everyone who's playing the game basically experiences Psykers killing everything in the game right now. And there are so many memes about this. You made some really good memes yesterday, and you should post them someday, Darner.
Maybe I should.
So, what is Assail, and why do you think it's so powerful? And why do you think people are complaining about the Assail Psykers nowadays?
So the thing with the sale, I think the main reason as to why people dislike it isn't really about the fact that it's killing all of the enemies. It's about the fact that for a seller to kill things, you need to do melee or you need to bring out your ranged weapon. You need to aim and shoot and kill things. With certain weapons that are weak spot based, you need to aim for the head or you need to have a certain build for it. With Psyker and Assail, you just kind of pick Assail, and then you can basically just aim in a general direction and you shoot out homing missiles that will headshot the enemies and will just demolish the entire map, basically. I
So,
think it's more an issue with the people not liking the fact that it doesn't require skill to use it to actually kill things.
so
And
basically, you're saying that Assail is not a blitz ability, but it's more of a new weapon thing, the way it's designed right now.
yeah, it's more of a no brain or no skill weapon kind of thing. And then the further down we go in the tree, the worse it gets, because the further down the tree we go, the stronger we just make the assail. So in the end, when we finish making a build with the sail, it just starts killing everything. So it's really good at killing all kinds of elites, all kind of specials, and it's good at clearing hordes as well. And if you go for the keystone in the middle tree, you get where you can take a talent on the right side there on the psionics, that overpowering souls. So whenever you kill an elite, you get a stack of the empowered thing. And the empowered thing makes it so that your next use of a sail doesn't cost you any dagger. It has 100% free of charge of peril, and it also does more damage. It increases the base damage, which also makes it do even more damage with all the multipliers that you got from the talent tree. And it just gets to this level where if there are, let's say that a mauler patrol spawns, right? So it's like 10, 12 maulers. You can just sit and spam a sail and it will kill them and you will get free charges and you will just keep throwing it and you won't explode and you will just kill everything. It's basically like you were playing the old bolter vet, but without running out of ammunition. And this is making it so that a lot of players are being real fed up with the Psykers because Assail is so strong and it doesn't really require any personal skill to use in a mediocre way, that it just allows you to play the game a little bit more on the easy mode. And I think that's not good for the game balance as it is right now. Like for me personally, when I run a sale, I run it without the middle key node because I don't just want to be sitting and spamming a sale. Because if I went with the middle key node, I could just sit and spam a sale non-stop, and my melee weapon wouldn't be useful, and my range weapon wouldn't be useful. And at that point, it becomes like a walk and click simulator. And that is just not fun gameplay, not for me or my team. So I think they need to do something about this. They really do.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts on the Assail?
I agree with everything you said. There's not much to add on this topic. I think basically the Assail should go back to becoming a blitz ability. Blitz abilities, for those who are not familiar, are things that you will use as utility to get out of trouble, to help teammates, to kill special elite. They're not things that you can spam. They're not things that you can use 24/7 through the whole run. They're things you need to think carefully about their economy. They're used in every other class. You have certain blitz ability economy that you need to take into consideration. You cannot keep throwing immolation grenades or stun grenades or the all green grenade, the new mini nuke thing. All the other classes, they need to think how they're gonna use their blitz ability. Assail Psyker just doesn't care about this. You can play a whole run just spamming Assail. Whenever you run out of Assail, you just need to wait, and then you just pull out your weapon, your melee weapon or your ranged weapon, to just feel the downtime. You know, you're not really playing with a ranged weapon or a melee weapon. You're just filling the gaps. You're just waiting for the Assail daggers to replenish, and you're doing other things in this time, and they go up very fast. So I don't know if they should nerf the damage or anything like that. I think the easiest thing to do would be, and that's something you suggested, Darner, which I found like a very good idea. I don't like it because I like to feel so powerful when I play my Psyker, but I know it's the right thing to do. Just reduce the 10 daggers to 5. So people have to think about the economy of the daggers. Okay, so if you reduce them by half, by 50%, then you see a pack of elites, and you have to think, okay, now maybe I can use my daggers, or can I clear these elites without the use of daggers and have the daggers ready, the Assail daggers ready, in case something unexpected comes up, in case we get overwhelmed. You will have to make decisions based on the economy of Assail. Right now, there's no economy in Assail, and I think that's the problem. And I can tell you, I've run many runs, never picking up any ammo, or barely picking any ammo. I almost never go with the staff. I know that the Void Strike staff is very strong, but we're gonna discuss it some other time. But it's not necessary to go with the staff right now. You can just go with Assail and pick whatever weapon complements your build. I basically pick weapons to based on what I'm gonna do when I run out of Assail charges. So I'm thinking, okay, do I need to do AoE? I'm gonna pick a melee AoE weapon like the Elisi blade. Do I need some buffs or some specific blessing from my ranged weapon? Do I need to kill bosses faster? I'm just gonna get a last pistol. The Assail build is very crit heavy, so the last pistol and the burning stacks are gonna work very well together with the Assail build. Okay, I'm gonna bring a last pistol so I can put the bosses on fire and do tons of boss damage, but that's the only way I'm thinking about the ranged weapon. There's nothing sophisticated in that right now. I can just go in, and whenever I see even a horde, like I was so surprised that at first I thought the Assail is gonna be an elite killer, and then I realized that you just basically use it everywhere. What is it? It's a horde coming, no problem, Assail. It's an elite coming, no problem, Assail. Yeah, someone could even go brain dead and do that on a boss, and you wouldn't care, right? You can just spam it and wait a little bit and then spam it again. The peril management, depending on the build, is not something that could make the argument that there is no economy as a blitz in the stacks that you have, but there is economy on the peril side of things. I would say not really, because you can play builds that reduce the peril production. The peril will not go up as fast as to be dangerous. And of course, you can play builds that are gonna make the Assail stronger, but you're gonna get more peril. But it's not like you really have to micromanage or min-max your peril increase. So I think Fatshark understand this. I think it's a common sense thing. I don't know when they're gonna change it, but I'm expecting Assail to get some kind of nerf. I just wonder what kind of nerf it's gonna be. Is it gonna be the damage of it? Is it gonna be the amount of charges you have? Is it gonna be the generation, like how fast you get the daggers back? I just don't know what's gonna be. I think something's gonna come. So if you're playing Psyker, maybe it's time you start playing some other builds as well. Don't just have one build on your arsenal like I do. I'm not proud of saying this, but right now I just have the Assail build on my Psyker. I didn't need to play anything else. I'm just having fun until they fix it, basically.
I've suggested many builds to him, guys, but he just won't budge. Like,
Yeah,
Assail is just too good.
yeah. And plus, you know what? If I play Assail, I'm gonna be top in
Top of the scoreboard.
Yeah, and then I can assume that I'm the best player in Darktide based on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Higher scoreboard equals better player. Correct. Every time.
Yeah. So we kind of skipped the topic of the weapon reworks. I don't actually have it somewhere written somewhere. I don't have a post or something where this was mentioned. It was mentioned on some streams of people who participated in the closed testing of patch 13. Some of those were asked about weapon reworks and rebalances before patch 13 came out, and they said that many weapons are receiving rebalances and reworks right now. Even some blessings are still on the works, but they're gonna come out later. So they wanted to roll out the patch with the talent trees, and there's still some things that they're still working and testing, and they're gonna release them later. One of those things I heard it's about the Crusher, and I don't know if the Ogrin version of the Crusher, what's the name of it? I never played.
The Power Maul.
The Power Maul, yeah. The Power Maul, they're gonna receive some rework or not. It would be nice if they did. What would you change, Darner, if you reworked the Power Maul and the Crusher?
The way that I would change them is the Crusher as it is right now for the Zealot. It's basically just a AoE stun stick. The whole idea when they released the weapon was that stagger was something that was underutilized back then, but now you have a lot of forms of stagger, so it's not really needed that much anymore. What I would change about the crushers in general would be to make them more. I would make them more of a horde clearing weapon, in the sense that the cells already got the thunder hammers. The thunder hammers are more for killing elites and stuff, and like big targets like bosses, crushers, Owens, those kind of guys. And I think the Crusher would do better, being a bit more on the side of being better at the clearing hordes. Like maybe change the special to not just be a one activation thing, but maybe more like the make it more like the
Power Sword?
veteran's power sword, where you can get a blessing that allows you to have the charge up for more attacks and make it cleave through enemies and be like more of a horde clearing and like a shooter clearing weapon. There, I don't know a lot about the lore about the weapon in the 40k universe, so I couldn't really tell what it's supposed to be doing in those regards. I have more information about the chain swords and power swords and thunder hammers because I really like those weapons. um, but yeah, we don't know how they're going to rework them. I just know that it can't get worse than the state that they're in right now. That is my take on the subject.
But how would you change it to differentiate it from the Thunderhammer in case of the Crusher, and how you would change the power mold to be different from the Bully Club? If they're just elite killers or Crusher or Carapace or boss killers, you kind of make them similar to existing weapons. So I feel like this is a difficult puzzle to solve. Personally, I don't have any good ideas on fixing those weapons.
I don't either, really. I don't know how they're going to fix it because they introduced the Iron Helm Thunderhammer and it kind of replaced the use of the Crusher. Because before we had a Crucis Thunderhammer, which was single target only, and you got staggered when you used it. And then they introduced the Crusher, which allowed you to be like the Iron Helm. But then they replaced the Crusher with the Iron Helm in a later update, I think. And it just kind of made it obsolete. And I don't know. From what I know, they are supposed to be very similar. Like thunder hammers are supposed to actually be like the Crusher. Like from what I know of the lore, the explosion is supposed to be the Crusher one is supposed to be on the thunder hammers, and the thunder hammer one is supposed to be on the Crusher, if I remember correctly. I'm not too sure, but they need to change something about it because currently there's just no reason to be using the Crusher or the Power Maul because there are just so many different and better options out there.
I see. Well, we're just gonna wait and see what they come up with. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe they could make the Crusher have a special that is doing tons and tons of stagger and make it similar like the mega punch of the shovel on the Ogrin, that you can stun bosses. That could be fun. Like if the
Yeah,
Thunderhammer, yeah.
give us Power Fists already. Come on. Green want their Power Fists. Come on, game devs. We can do this.
Yeah, Power Fist for the win. There is one more topic that we lined up for this podcast, this video. That's the it's a speculation basically that maybe a DLC is coming. I made a post on the forums and some people said it's not a DLC. The reason I'm thinking it might be a DLC is because there is a giveaway running right now from Fatshark, and in the contents of the kit, of the supply kit that the winner is gonna get, you get some stuff, some pretty nice stuff, physical stuff that you can put in your room. Maybe that's good for streamers. I don't know. In the list you see game DLC listed, and I can't think anything else than what the word says. Like it's gonna be a future DLC. It sounds like a Game Pass to me. It's like a combination of the Game Pass and a DLC. So basically when you get a Game Pass, it means that next time there's gonna be an update, a paid DLC, you have the pass, you're gonna get it for free. The wording kinda reminds me of this, like it's gonna be a Game Pass for a future DLC. That's why I think it's gonna be a DLC. And Fatshark also said that they're working on a new character or a new class. so we won't have 4, we will eventually have 5. And I thought, okay, maybe that's what they mean. At some point they're gonna release a new class. What did you say it's gonna be? A tech priest?
It was people were speculating that it was gonna be a Skitari, which is similar to a tech priest, yeah. And with it would be like radiating weapons and more plasmacer weapons.
Yeah. But when I made this thread, some people had a different take on this game DLC, and they say it's the Imperium edition. It is the Imperium edition. Many people said that. I don't know. I'm thinking like if it was the Imperium edition, wouldn't they just write here Imperium edition and get done with it? Why would they say game DLC? I really don't understand this. Do you think we're actually getting a paid DLC? Because I haven't played Vermintide, but some people are saying, and I know you've played Darner, that's why I'm asking you. People are saying that Fatshark said they learned something from Vermintide 2, and that was that they should not be doing any paid DLCs in the future. So do you think it's going to be a paid DLC? Are they sticking to the word? Are they changing things? What do you think?
The way game DLCs worked in Vermintide was that you had multiple different kinds. So you could first of all buy cosmetics for a lot cheaper than what you do in Darktide. Like one whole set of skin for your character was like free to €6. It was very cheap. But you also had the kind of DLCs for the additional classes. So in Vermintide, you had the 5 main characters, and they had 2 additional subclasses from their main class added to you for free at the beginning of the game. And then later on, they started producing more classes for each of the characters. We're still waiting for the Glock Sienna build, but it's apparently going to be a necromancer. What a boomer. So you could buy the classes as a form of DLC. And then you had another kind of DLC where they gave you access to new achievements and new maps and new enemy types also from those DLC maps. And what happened there was, for example, if you're playing as Sienna, the Psyker, quote unquote, from the Vermintide games, you got access to your best weapon, your best staff from one of the DLCs, which was the Coruscation staff. In order to get that weapon, you had to buy one of the DLCs because the only way to unlock the weapon was from the DLC. You needed to get access to the achievement, where you then needed to finish the achievement in order to unlock the weapon. And this was the case for a lot of the classes. For example, on Victor Saltspire, you could get the dual wielding axe and falchion, which was also DLC. You could get the bill hook, which was a DLC weapon, and so they locked certain weapons and maps and enemy types behind these DLCs. And I think that is what they're thinking is going. They're not gonna do again. I think that's the lesson they learned.
Yeah. Do you think it's gonna be DLCs are gonna be for Darktide? They're gonna be locking weapon customization. Someone wrote this on the forums, and it's actually a good idea because right now we know there is a very good mod you can download and customize the weapons that you're using, and it's pretty badass, to be honest. And more and more people are using this mod, and it's just a matter of time until Fatshark notices and they think, okay, this is free real estate. We need to do something similar. Do you think maybe Fatshark is thinking about an official, like in-game, built-in weapon customization in Darktide that they're gonna sell instead of the cosmetic shop? They're gonna sell it as a DLC thing?
The way that the weapon customization mod works is that it literally just toggles some things in the game files that allows you to access the weapon customization. The weapon customization is already in the game, but it's currently turned off. The thing that the mod does is it activates it and allows you to actually customize your weapons. So it's something that they have already been working on. The question is just how they're going to release it and in what state they're going to release it, or if they're just going to take it out completely. We just don't know. Some have been speculating, like you said, for example, that hey, maybe they're gonna start selling like blade shapes and stuff instead of just complete weapon skins in the shop. Like, hey, you can buy this handle for €2 or something like that, and that would be kind of funny and silly. But it's like, really, is this the route we're going down? Like, I don't know. I don't know what state it's gonna be released in, but I think that they wouldn't have put the time and effort into making it unless they were going to use it. But there's also the possibility that they have been using, they added it to the game as their way of creating weapon skins, so that they just import the things into the game files and then they just build a weapon there and then put it on the shop. That is also a possibility that it's not meant to be used by other players. If you guys want to use this mod, Fatshark themselves has said that it's completely fine to use this mod, so you won't get banned for using it. The way that it works is it only shows the weapon customization for you. It doesn't show it for anyone else. And as long as that is the case, that it doesn't show the customizations that you made to your weapons for anyone else, then it's fair game. That's what the Fatshark have said themselves. So it's completely safe to use it. You won't get banned for it unless they make a change so that it shows it for other people if you want to use the mod.
That's cool. Well, Darner, I think we're done with all the topics. I don't know if you have any final thoughts or something that you think we should mention that we didn't mention before we end this episode.
No, mainly that we're gonna try to do these kind of things as a regular thing from week to week or maybe every 2 weeks. We haven't really come and figured that out yet. We're gonna talk about it. And we're also gonna be trying to release like our talent builds with some quick showcases and some other things.
Nice. So if you guys think there is a specific topic we didn't touch in this episode and we should really discuss, you can leave it in the comments. You can tell us what you think about the topics we just discussed. And we're going to see you in the next episode. So take care until then. See you.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.